Welcome, everyone, to another episode of AIME's Grow and Get It. I'm Tom Ahles, President of Growth. Today, I get to sit with Melanie Walburg, broker owner of Destiny Mortgage, friend to all mortgage brokers out there. I know for me, I was talking with Melanie a little afterwards, and I was like, who is this lady from Georgia? Just kicking butt. Always doing a good job, sharing wins, helping out the community. Really appreciate you being here today, Melanie.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Tom, for having me.
How have things been going? I know you had some medical issues with your husband. Where a lot of us, as just like my wife, she's not in the industry yet. People know her, right? Just like Ron. Ron's not in the industry, but Ron's my buddy. I always like seeing him. He puts a smile on my face. Hopefully, our group today can send some healing wishes for him for his little accident that he had here earlier this year. We just wanted to let you know that we're thinking about him and we're here for you if you ever need it. Okay.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that.
All right, so let's dive in, right? You have always done cool and unique things, right? You got the moving truck, which I love. You bought an old house that is just unique looking for your office. I think you have, how many team members are you up to now? You added a team member too recently, right?
Yeah, we have five now. My newest originator is my son. So he's training to step in and originating because he's on the downhill slide from Air Force. He'll be retiring from the Air Force in a few years, which blows my mind because I am not that old to have a child that can be retiring. But yeah, so he's the next loan officer here.
Wow, that's awesome. I still remember the first time I reached out to you, it was just you. You were self-processing, closing just a buttload of loans every month and busting your tail, as I'm sure you're still doing now, but you got some help now. So I'm glad to see the growth that you've experienced. And I want to talk about some of the unique things that you're doing, right? One of the things that you're doing, like you started leaning into some products that a lot of loan officers, including myself, I don't touch them, right? And we're talking about home equity lines of credit, right? For me, somebody needs a home equity line of credit, I refer it to my local credit union and call it a day. I want to know why I'm missing the boat here. So help educate me on why you've decided to lean into HELOCs over other loan products.
Well, okay. So the beginning of this year, I guess just like everybody else, December, it's not home buying season in the winter. And people don't want to go out looking at houses when it's freezing outside. And loan volume was down. And I'm like, I cannot have this. I just cannot. I cannot have low loan volume. If you know me, I'm like, it just if I have any downtime, I'm one of those people. If I have any downtime during the day, I'm literally like, what can I be doing? What can I be doing? I need to do something. I need to be active and proactive and making commission, making more money. So it was funny because I don't know about everybody's faith base, but I pray a lot, and God and I have our best communications in the middle of the night. Not sure why that happens that way, but Ron jokes and he's like, "That's because that's the only time God knows He can get your attention." And I'm like, He has my full undivided attention at 2 a.m. You're right, because I am just laying there listening, going. So in January I was like praying, like, God, show me what you want me to do, if I'm supposed to pay for more advertising, whatever. And then I get an email from my AE at Remen with this loan product, and I read over it and I'm like, that's it. Like, this actually is one of those things where it sounds too good to be true. So called her and dove into it, and she's like, no, it's really what's on this matrix, but you have to learn the matrix, know the minimum credit score. You don't want to sound like you're an idiot when you're on the phone with a borrower. So I tried it. I actually went through the process of giving one to myself because I wanted to see if their portal, because it's all the Remen portal.
What about Remen, right? Remen's 5-day HELOC.
Remen does everything. They do all the processing. So I'm like, so before I introduce this to my borrower, I want to go through and see how easy it really is. So I went through all the prompts, and it got to where I can pick off the grid my loan amount, my loan terms. I'm like, okay, that's really easy. And then I just exited out of the thing and I didn't finish it. But I started offering this. It was funny because I think I'd already done like 4 or 5 of them, and then I made a flyer and I put the flyer out there on social media. And I put the flyer out like on a Friday afternoon, and I had probably 20 or 30 borrowers reach out to me. But over the next 3 days, I had at least 100 mortgage brokers. messages me. I mean, messaging me right and left through Facebook private messenger. Who are you doing
Yeah.
that loan through? How are you doing it? Because it's really an amazing loan product. So for you, Tom, and all those other brokers that are sending your HELOCs to a bank or a credit union, you're losing out on a huge opportunity. I've closed more than 20 of these. I've got 3 more in process, and I have 2 more applications waiting for me to be reviewed. It's like 20 minutes of work tops on our part. All we're checking is the credit score and LTV. Rimmon takes over, they do everything, and we get 2% on the loan amount. Which, by the way, every loan amount for me, as long as the LTV is in line, it's an upsell. Like they ask
Yeah.
for 40,000, I'm like, but you got enough equity to get 120,000. Okay, let's do that then. And you get 2% of that for no work.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So you set it up with Rimmon. You get your own dedicated. Is it a page or a QR code? How does it work?
So the borrower completes our standard application. So your application, my application, they complete the application. We do an Experian soft pull only the one credit score soft pull. Have to have a minimum 620 credit score, 680 minimum credit score for an investment property. Your AE at Rimmon, they'll send you the matrix. And basically, until I had memorized this stuff, I was looking at the matrix going, okay, they got a 700 credit score. They can do this LTV, this loan amount. Eventually, you get it memorized when you do enough of them. But they get an Experian, pull Experian only. You check the LTV, the debt ratio it's a maximum 50% debt ratio. Here's the other really cool thing though. No income docs. The income that's used for qualifying is the average of the last 3 months of bank deposits. The bank deposits can come from anywhere. It can be job, spouse's job, grandma's social security, deposits from anywhere. The total deposits for any one bank account, and I've had borrowers ask me, like, I got a business bank account, I got a personal bank account. And it depends whichever one's got the most. You just provide, it's called the Plaid system. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Plaid, but it's a secure portal where they enter their bank login information. The borrower watches like the little wheels spin for 30 seconds and it says your income is calculated at blah, blah, blah. I mean, it literally tells them what the calculated income is.
Wow.
So to back up for a second. So on our end, we get the Experian, we check the LTV, the debt ratio. I always tell people when you're doing the loan application, don't list your actual income, list the average of your bank deposits for the last 3 months, because that's all I care about. And then once I check the LTV, there's a form that you fill out in Rimmon's. Rimmon will provide you a link, and you go into that link. I've got it saved in my favorites now because I've used it so much. But you go into the link and you fill it in, the borrower's information, the credit score you pulled, the Zillow value. That's the other thing. No appraisal. It goes purely by Zillow. No appraisal is even allowed. Yeah, it goes by estimate, so that's good and bad though. So let me tell you about that. So if it's new construction or a home that has been like majorly renovated in the last 2 years or whatever, and the value doesn't show up on Zillow, it could be a deal breaker. Yeah. But for most people, they have a Zestimate, and that Zestimate is what's used. So we fill out the little form in Rimmon's site. Within an hour, Rimmon emails me a link. I forward that link to the borrower. I'm done. I sit back and wait for a paycheck.
Wow. Okay, I'm sold. Calling my Rimmon rep as soon as we're done with this.
I mean, so many people are like, wait, I've always referred these out. And I'm like, okay, but if you can do 120,000 for this one, 300,000 for this one, 2% commission on each one, it's money you didn't even think you were going to be getting, and it's almost no work.
And providing value, and as we know, I mean, right now equities are at the highest they've ever been. Right? To me, I've always been hesitant about doing them. I think I got to look at it for my own self, but for me, it's always been the rates are higher, right? But I guess when you're looking at ease of service and everything else, people like working with you, and they would much rather work with you for a difference of, I don't know, the going rate on a HELOC today is 8.5, I would assume, right? Based off of prime.
Well, so that's the other thing. And I know every market is different, but here in Georgia, almost every HELOC through a bank or a credit union is a variable interest rate, and it's a 20-year loan term. Yeah. This Rimmon loan is 30 years fixed. Wow. So the rate's going to be higher. It may be 11%. it depends on the equity position and the credit score, and the occupancy. This is also available for an investment property, but that does come with a slightly higher rate than primary residence. But I literally don't have anybody that says no. I mean, everybody's like, an appraiser doesn't have to come look at my house. I don't have to pay for an appraisal. I can close in a week. Sign me up. What do I need to do? So that's the selling features, because most of the HELOCs, the HELOCs at a bank, they serve their purpose. But it's not going to be the lowest payment, because it's, not a 30-year loan term. It's only a 20-year loan term.
So these are fixed 30-year second position loans.
Yes. And the borrower can't
line of credit.
choose their term. They can choose a 5-year fixed term, 10-year, they can choose 15-year, they can choose 30-year. But most, I don't know, I think I had one guy that did a 15-year. Everybody else is doing a 30-year, because the reality now with inflation is that credit card debt is at an all-time high. People are literally putting the necessities on credit cards, going to the grocery store and buying their groceries on a credit card, paying 18% interest rate on it. And I'm like, there's a better way. And, we can take your car payments, your credit cards, all of that, pay it all off with this HELOC. And if you do it right, close the credit card so you don't get yourself in trouble, run those back up. And the HELOC is tax deductible, and there's a little bit left over. You're getting an extra, whatever, 20,000 or whatever in the HELOC, that you can use later if you want to. Now, the thing about the HELOC, though, whatever that loan amount is, that initial draw is direct deposited after the rescission period, 4 days after closing, is direct deposited in full into the borrower's bank account. And that's how you also get paid in full, 2%.
Yes.
So, but the borrower can repay what they don't use, and then they can access it later.
Love it. Love it. You always bring the fire. You got me excited about doing HELOC. So, Melanie.
It's not even a sell. All you have to do is tell people you have it, and then the people are like, what do I need to do?
All right. Well, get ready. You're seeing it on my social media, because it's coming up. I got to call my Remen rep and get that moving. I've seen it out there, but, that's why I've always liked talking with you. You always have a view on things to where, I'm glad God speaks to you at 2 a.m. because he's helped you, helped me many times, helped our community. Melanie, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you being a guest on our Grow and Get It. If you're new and you're looking for other ideas to help you with maybe a tweak or something you do that to get out and grow your business a little more, check out some of our past episodes on YouTube under AIME National. You'll see some of our past guests there, or even if you want to listen to Melanie again and dive in a little deeper, she covered a lot, very accurate, great member of our community. Thank you for supporting AIME. Thank you for being such a quality broker and a good friend. I really miss you. I hope we get to see you at Fuse this year. And I hope you all have a great day and go out and grow and get it.
Thanks, Tom.